Hello, everybody. How are we all doing? I'm hoping we're good. 'Cause if not, then it's going to be all sad time vibes. Welcome to Late Night Leeds, in which we discuss whatever is going on at the moment in the world of Leeds United, which is often quite a lot. It's often not very much, but it's always something. And in this case, I have a video to record for the morning. Specifically, I don't know what on, so I've left that up to you guys to vote. I was considering doing it as like a YouTube members vote, but I decided against that because I felt like that would be a little bit of a tricky one. But yeah, I thought we'd have a little bit of a natter. I'm going to be relatively quiet because Kayla is sleeping in the next room over. I'm very glad you enjoy it, Alex. Thank you very much. And yeah. So we've got a choice, basically, and I'll run you through the basics of what each of the bits of news is, and I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to end that poll now. We're not going to consider the votes on that poll. I'm going to prepare a second poll, which we will actually make the decision on. So what do we do tomorrow's? That's not how I phrased it last time. The morning video will be on ... and it will be either Tanaka negotiations or ITK implying Hamer to Leeds. I'll rephrase that. Cool. So, early morning pigeon, indeed. Weirdly, I don't think I'll have anyone to raid at this point, but that's fine. Set out content creating last week. It's a tough game, but enjoying it. Like your stuff, mate. Keep it going. Thank you very much, Only Leeds Bros. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like it. I just try and make stuff that I think other people will enjoy making. And if at any point you want like help with anything, just let me know, because I just like helping people, and a lot of people help me to get to the stage that I'm at this point anyway. So it's lovely. So Robert and Thorn have individually asked, who have we signed today and has Tanaka signed? So the general gist of this stream is to plan the morning video and to record the morning video. But the two options that we've got are a story on Ao Tanaka, who is reportedly in negotiations with Leeds United, or we are negotiating with Dusseldorf to finally work out exactly what the fee will be. It's looking like that will be very, very, very close to being done. Heard some rumours about wages potentially being an issue, which isn't ideal, but those sound mostly like bollocks, to be completely honest. I feel like it's going to be something that definitely happens. And the other story is a couple of ITKs. FPLG23 is one example, but there are others at the moment, have sort of indicated a potential move for Gus Hamer, with the specific wording being, oh, Wimbledon won on spot kicks. Wonderful. I'm just going to find the specific wording of it. There it is. Hamer's looking likely. He's right, I can't see them turning this sort of money down and playing a very, very big bid. Someone in response said, Hamer, not a chance. If it happens, I'll delete my account. To which said ITK responded, we'll give you a good send-off. I'll be shocked if they reject this with the player pushing for the move. So it's looking increasingly likely, like there is at the very least a very, very, very big bid, which I think is at the very least worthy of a video or a stream. So basically with this, you've got two options. Whichever you vote for will be the video. Is it going to be the one on the Tanaka negotiations, or is it going to be the Hamer ITK stuff? One's a video, the other will be a live stream, but the live stream, I'm sure we'll discuss both of them anyway. I'm going to set that poll going now. I'm going to run it for a few minutes until it's got a good few votes, which should be absolutely lovely. And in the meantime, I'm going to hop through some of the comments. We're just falling asleep. Lol, can't sleep now. Go to sleep, my guy. If you want, I can always just not record this. Just to make sure you're sleeping. Everyone will blame you, Sean, but that's fine. Joe, who do you think we sign? Definitely Tanaka. Hamer, potentially. I want us to, but it's less certain, I think. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Going to try and jump on your quiz Friday if the kids are asleep. Yeah, it's a big if. The thing with the quiz is we've got something interesting planned for it that I'm not going to say on stream right now, but people that have been on my previous streams will know what I mean when I say the prize is the signed picture. Don't leak it, because if it gets through to people, problems. But I might be keeping a close eye on who's part of that and like looping people in that I trust, if you get me. Joe, I see you're creeping up to 5k. You may hit your 5k target as you hoped on Joe's podcast earlier. I'm hoping so. I hope so. The only concern I've got with it is I would need to have my 3 highest subscriber gain days ever on my YouTube channel consecutively in order to hit it, which means I'm going to have to work my absolute bollocks off. And you know I'm going to do that anyway, but tough. Though Hamer can pick out a long pass will be just too good for us. Yeah, that's why I'm very, very excited about him, if we can get it done. I've watched over some clips since I was on Wayneman's podcast earlier, because someone was really mean, but very exciting. Hopefully I hit 5k by Friday. Thank you very much, Bucks. Hamer isn't moving anywhere. That's what you think. I'm convinced he's going to move somewhere. Always am. If you spend more than 30 million we've already bid, I'll be thoroughly shocked. It looks like we're potentially interested in doing that, but I'm not certain. I've clicked the wrong one. That one. Subscribe. Thank you very much, IPW, and I'll book a babysitter for Friday night, then just join your quiz. That'd be appreciated. It's going to be a good time. You guys know what the vibes are like on these streams. They're nice, they're chill, they're good times. They're relaxed. And the general gist will be everyone's going to have a good time. We're going to do a little bit of malarkey, and then the window's going to end, and we're going to be not too losing our heads regardless of what happens with the end of the transfer window, because I know a lot of people are going to be unhappy with stuff, and that is fine, because it's okay. I just can't see Hamer ending up at Elland Road. Reckon he'll go to a lower Prem club. Makes sense. Like, I'd understand that, but it depends on if we're the ones that are willing to make the move first, because there's definitely something in moving quickly. I think Hamer will go bottom half PL and we'll get Tanaka another. That also makes sense. Like, roll and sell, I would not be about signing at all. Is Hamer a real possibility? I can't get my head around why you'd want to make what would in reality be a sideways move. I know it could be in the Prem next season, but so could the Blades. It could also be a case of looking at the two projects, because looking at it, he knows there's a strong squad here. He knows that he's coming in to replace a first-team player here, so he's going to get minutes no matter what. He's in a decent enough situation if he does come to Leeds, which helps our case, I think. Surely there's a statement signing coming. I'd like to think so, but I guess we'll find out. If he doesn't sign this window, I hope we bid every day until January, upping the bid by £1. I love it. That'd be such a good idea. We need to have positivity. Absolutely. I mean, there's no point being negative. It doesn't help anyone, really, does it? Hope we get a 10 by deadline day. I'm still worried if we struggle against a low block like last season. I think we'll get someone in. I think even if it's not Hamer, we'll make some move. But if you haven't yet voted in the poll, that'd be much appreciated, because I'm going to wait till it gets 50 votes, shall we say, before deciding on what the video will be for tomorrow, and then we will get it all scripted, and then we'll dive into it. What's happening with the sell ideal? That could have been a third option for the poll, I'll be completely honest with you. Because let's see what good old friend West End said. Because West End Rolf of the Square Ball, or at least known in discussions around the Square Ball, is part Hungarian, so keeps an eye on the Hungarian national team quite a lot and has been watching quite a lot of Salai stuff, which makes sense. And it looks like Hungarian Football Extra, which is apparently a reasonable enough source for Hungarian football stuff, stated that according to Graham Smith, Leeds' interest in Salah is not yet ended, and club sources aren't ruling anything out before the deadline. No updates from a reliable Hungarian source yet. Let's see. ... So we'll find out, I guess. Hello, Brett, new listener. How are you doing? No talk of Cabal lately. Yeah, I think that'll be a case of we're looking in other places now. So we're thinking that maybe Salah is a better player. Hamer might be a better player. So it's a case of we'll look at absolutely everyone we can. If it comes to it, we might end up signing what's his name? Cabal. Which I think is a sensible approach, I'll be completely honest. Just to warn you all, as always, it is doing the YouTube telling me to run an ad thing. As I always suggest, if you just click on the ad and then swipe back, you will end up back at the video after like 2 seconds. The only thing that changes for anyone is a little bit more ad revenue comes my way, you get back to the video faster, and the advertisers themselves have to pay more money for being a hassle to all of us. So I'm going to click the run ad button in a sec, and if you guys could do that. Also, let me know what advertising you get, because that is sort of helpful, and it means that basically we know whose money we're taking. So I'm going to click the button now, and we're going to get into it. Cutscene onto wanting to go to Everton for the abuse at the train stations. This is a really good point, right? If you're a professional footballer and all of the fans have in recent days proven themselves to be incredibly aggressive, incredibly abusive, why would you stay? Or why would you make a change in your career and actively think, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the club that's really, really mean to their players. Bad idea. Would not do that. Would not suggest that in any way, shape, or form. So I think Everton fans are sort of shooting themselves in the foot there. Joe, do you think we'll get Salah or Hamer? Because we won't get both, but if we do, I will be buzzing. We won't get both. I think it'll be a case of 50 votes. Oh, yeah. Which looks like it will be a Hamer job. Thank you very much for the reminder, Lee. Think of the two. Hamer would be funnier, wouldn't it? I think it's a question of we're negotiating with both, and it's just whichever comes out first. Because in terms of standard, I wouldn't mind either of them. They're both good. That's the point as well. Nanto is fully aware that he's going to be a big part of this side. And it'd be bizarre of him to leave in that case. Especially since this is the year that even if we don't go up, he can prove himself. Which is sensible, you know? Christ alive, Brett. Yes, I do. And stop your shouting. We're a nice chill vibe stream here. That was a bad weekend for Everton fans for Russia. It was awful. Not the first time some Everton numbnuts giving their players close-up vociferous dogs abuse. Want Hamer now just to piss Welder off? It's too early to show. It is, or too late. It depends on your perspective, really. I think, like, days ending at midnight, silly. Shouldn't end at midnight. I think you should count it as ticking over to a new day at, like, 4 a.m. I think that's the time I'd go with. Because 2 a.m., that's still late night, you know? 4 a.m., no one's calling that late night. That's early morning. 3 is sort of borderline. But it's tough to sort of decide. But I'm going to put the banners together for the Hamer video. And then we're going to record the Hamer video. And it's going to be good fun. And we're going to enjoy it. We're going to have a nice chill together. This next few minutes might involve a lot of typing, but stick with it because I will still be like having a bit of a chat. I'm really mad, by the way, because of the two video options I gave you. I'd already made a thumbnail for the Tanaka one. And then I saw the Hamer news and I was like, you know what, I'm going to need to record something anyway. I don't know which to go for. Let's let the chat decide. So here we are, streaming by surprise. Haha. Anyone that's new to the stream, by the way, I'd massively appreciate if you're able to subscribe, just because I'm trying to get to 5,000 by the transfer deadline, which is in like under 48 hours. Fuck, that's going to be pushing it. Ah, well. Good night, Joe. I have a job to do tomorrow. So do I, man. I've just got weird hours. Like, I work in sportsy stuff, which means that I basically, like, I work when there's football happening, except there's no football tomorrow, so I don't know if I'm working tomorrow. Yes, I am. I've got prep stuff to do. That's fine. First time on this late one, but been watching on your other videos. Ah, very nice. Do you think we get an announced signing tomorrow? This is why I was tempted to do the Tanaka video, because I think we get everything done for Tanaka tomorrow, but the signing gets formalized on the morning of deadline day, is what I think. I don't think we announce anything tomorrow, because I don't think we've got anything ready yet. I think it just, yeah, save them for Friday. It's a lot more sort of impactful that way. Would you back us to go without a statement signing? I would say that, considering we're in the Championship, Solomon is a statement signing. Ramazani is a statement signing. They're both very, very expensive players. Solomon isn't because he's a lump, but yeah. I would back us to go without any like big statement signings from this point. I wouldn't count Tanaka under that just because he'd be 3 to 4 million euros ish, if I remember right. But yeah. Friday is tomorrow. No, it's not. We're not past 4 a.m. yet. Shut up. Show all on Friday. I think this is where I'm sitting on it as well. Yeah. Right. I've got more banners to write, so it will be one moment of looking away from the chat. Someone is expensive, 50k a week. Is Solomon expensive? Because if you look at it, the wages are, sure. He's still cheaper than Tanaka across a single season. He's going to cost, what, 2 million across the season if we're considering we've missed a bunch of weeks of the 50k? Is Tanaka at 4 million euros? He's more than 2.5 million quid, and you've got his wages. Yeah. I mean, wage-wise, yes, I agree he's expensive. On balance, overall cost, I think Solomon is effectively a bargain if he stays fit. Right. So what has been said? Leeds done. I'm also going to ask around with some folks that I know in the world of football journalism, just to find out more if I can. That's the Philip building bollocks, which is fine. That's Tanaka, so that doesn't affect us. Who the fuck? Oh, stop linking us with Manuel Benson. That's basically just Brian Kent all over again. Please, can we stop talking about Manuel Benson? No one gives a shit. And more conversation about AO Tanaka. Okay. Tanaka confirmed by Mighty White's ITK on Wacko. Okay, right. I'm going to regret this one. I can feel that I'm going to regret this one. I can do both. Oh, you motherfuckers. Oh. Oh. I did not think you'd lean Tanaka rather than both. Like, I can do both of those videos. Like, that's fine. I don't know how they perform, but... But yeah, if you've not yet, pop a vote in the poll. That'd be appreciated. Helps me to sort of like guide the content and stuff like that. I'm trying to do more like polls and things just because they're very, very useful for me. Right. Now this changes the situation. Hamer's stance. Will we sign him? And then we'll do a very quick questions corner. You see, now we're voting for Tanaka. So we voted for Hamer, then we voted for Tanaka. I'm gonna do both. It feels like a bad idea, but it feels like the idea that we need to go for here. Hello, worst Leeds United channel. Do you think? And then... Right, I will entitle that one Hamer. And then I will entitle the... I voted Tanaka to appease you. Oh, God. That's not how this works. What's the headline mean tonight? Joe just joined. The headline means that I surprised myself by the fact I'm doing a stream because I wasn't planning on it. And there are 2 videos that I can do for the morning. Happy to do either of them. And the vote is currently leaning towards I'll probably end up doing both. There we go. Also, YouTube's doing the thing again where it's saying to run some ads. I'm going to click the button now so it doesn't take me by surprise, and I've got the full 12 minutes in which to record the next video bit. As always, just click on the ad, swipe back, it gets rid of it quickly. That helps. So, yeah, 1 second. Mate, do you do these live streams frequently, or is this a one-off? Been doing them more frequently recently because... Basically, I set myself a challenge of whilst Leeds are unbeaten in the league, I'm going to stream every day. I already did a stream today, but then there was 2 bits of news that happened tonight, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to do a stream for that, which is a fine enough idea, I think. And I'll do the Tanaka video, which is... We need a... He's affordable too. I have Tanaka secures Leeds United move. And then what segment shall we go with? Missing training to negotiate is a pretty big mark. How much will he cost? How does Tanaka play? Where he fits in the side is a good one. Pigeon segment. Absolutely not pigeon segment. Oh, now we're all voting for both. Okay, now I say that you don't have to appease me. What to expect from the timeline. And Is he a good move? Then we'll hop into questions corner, followed by what do you think? Cool. Another poll, Joe. Do you do a pigeon segment? I'm not doing a pigeon segment. That's just not happening. Didn't you get injured in training last summer when we wanted him learning from their mistakes? I thought it was winter when we wanted him. I don't know. We've been trying to find out where Dan James was shown the yellow card after scoring. Do you or others know? My guess is it was sort of crowd incitement by going over to them. Referees can be very, very stupid on that, but probably. Right. I'm going to do this little bit of recording now then. So, over celebration, probably the one, yeah. So, tend to start some streams by, not streams, videos, by saying the words test, test, words, test words, test words, test words, in order to get my microphone to the right level. And then I'm going to hop that open and I'm going to dive into it. So if you guys do have any questions, save them to the end of each of the recording bits, and then we will cover them when we get there. I need a pen to mark down when I start and finish these recordings. So Hamer is a time to a time, and then Tanaka is a time to a time. Bosh. Cool. Right. Getting into it. Right. Cool. So I admit I've stayed a little bit quiet on this story. There are some stories every transfer window that don't really grab you, that don't hold your attention so much that you sort of drift away from and don't want to report on because you're not 100% sure how accurate they are, that sort of thing. After all, this has been mostly unconvincing and loose, and we made a bid, but it wasn't a big bid, sort of things. However, since then, new views have come to light, which makes the entire thing very, very interesting, in my opinion, because Leeds United have reportedly made a brand new bid for Gus Hamer at Sheffield United. Now, before the ham sandwich man gets really mad and pink in the face and irritable, we're going to go through absolutely everything in this video. We're going to go through what exactly has been said, what Leeds have done, how it changes the situation, what Hamer's stance is, and ultimately whether or not we'll sign him, in addition to a quick look at Questions Corner, obviously, because I'm recording this one live at about midnight. But before I dive into it, I'm just going to draw your attention to a quick little bit of data. 65% of you still aren't subscribed to the channel. Trying to get to 5k by the transfer deadline. I need every single one of you guys to help out if you can. That'd be hugely appreciated. Thank you. So, diving into the Gus Hamer stuff. First up, we need to talk about what has been said. There have been several ITK accounts that have been talking Hamer for a little while now. So, for example, one that I and, for example, Joe Wainman and Joe and others like that, at least I think Joe does, see as reasonably reliable, FPLG 23, has said that there has been a bid where if a club, being sort of vague, were to say no to the amount of money that we're putting on the table right now, they would be incredibly silly to do so. In addition to that, I've heard from other ITK people that Leeds have put in another bid. It's a pretty big bid, as far as I'm aware. I've not heard the numbers, but I've heard potential to sort of break championship records, which is sort of impressive because I think the record is 16, 17 million-ish. So that would be a wild sum if we were to go for it. But ultimately, that means that what Leeds have done is put a significant amount of cash on the table in front of Sheffield United and said, look, your best asset right now, we've got the money. Do you want to do the deal? And I think they're going to find it fairly hard to say they don't want the deal, because in my opinion, this changes the situation vastly, like to an untold degree. We were told when Leeds initially made a bid that there were two bidders. At the same time, there was a bid of about 13 million quid, and there was another bid that was a little bit closer, a little bit more on the nose. Leeds were reportedly the £13 million bid, And we seem to have followed that £13 million bid up by going, okay, cool. That wasn't good enough for you. What about this? Because now we know roughly what the price tag is. My theory is that that £13 million was something to open the door, to start the conversation, to get in and say, look, we're interested. What do you think, Gus? And by that point, we've made the approach. We're allowed to talk to the player now. So we can also get in Gus Hamer's head, but we can also find out from Sheffield United. They imagine they sort of come out of the conversation going, no, you need another £5 million for that. Now we know the price tag. You don't immediately come in swinging with 20 million quid, because then you might have spent more than the initial need. Basically, now we know what we have to spend. Now we have put in a bid that is reportedly going to be enough. And importantly, Gus Hamer's stance doesn't exactly work against us right now. As far as all of the reports say, he's open to the move. Because you look at the two sort of projects and you compare and contrast them, and you see that the Leeds project has just signed Ramazani. It's got Solomon for the season. It's a very, very good side. Potentially got Tanaka coming in as well. We ain't a bad team right now. We're a very strong attacking team. We're a team where he would make a lot of chances for a lot of very good footballers. So it would not only improve his numbers, he'd not only have a decent chance of getting back to the Premier League, but even if it didn't work out, he's going to find a move somewhere if it doesn't happen. Because we're going to make him look really good in the process, like we did with Rutter and Somerville. Because we've proven that if we don't go up, we do provide a route out. As much as it hurts the fans, it's good for the players and it will draw them in. So ultimately, I think the question becomes quite simple. Will we sign him? In my opinion, it's going to be very, very hard for us to do. But if we've put enough money on the table, we can get it done. The one thing that concerns me right now is the fact that Chris Wilder has set such a firm and staunch stance against the sale that if the board were to work against him and say, no, we need that much money, that causes chaos in the camp, and it means that they might not want to sell, because that would show that there is discord on the final days of the transfer window, which is really bad for them. Horrendous. But it's really good for us, especially if we can get this deal done. I'm about 60-40 towards us getting it done at the moment. I'm optimistic if we can do. But I am also aware that there are concerns that it's going to be a very, very tough one to get done. But that's what I think. I'm going to bring us over to Questions Corner for 2 or 3 questions on the Gus Hamer stuff. To the live chat right now. If you could keep it Gus Hamer focused, that would be absolutely fantastic. Purely because, as you know, I've got another video that I'm recording in about 10 minutes' time. So you can save the other stuff for that one. So that would be absolutely fantastic if you could. But aside from that, whilst I'm waiting for a couple of questions to roll in, what do you think if you're watching the video back? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet. Trying to get to 5,000 by the transfer deadline, and I know it's going to be a big push, and I'll need every single one of you on the side, but that'd be fantastic. So, hopping over to Questions Corner, we'll do 2 or 3. First up, we have viewers. Have you liked and subscribed? That wasn't even a plant. That's just Marcus being a good dude. What's the crack with players coming in? Effectively, it seems to be a case of Leeds United have made an improved offer for Gus Hamer that is going to be very, very hard for Sheffield United to turn down, especially when they've already struggled a little bit with financial stuff recently and financial regulations and potential fines and stuff like that. So it's looking fairly promising in terms of the Hamer thing. Tanaka, we've also seen a little bit of promising movement on. I'll get into that detail in a little bit further when I'm recording that specific video, but effectively that one is looking almost done. Outside of that, probably looking at a left back, and beyond that, it's hard to say. Next question up. If we get Hamer, who else do we get? I think Tanaka will come through. I think we'll get a left back, and then it'll just be a question of replacing anyone that leaves. For example, if Max Vuba were to go, then he would need a replacement, obviously. But outside of that, I'm not 100% sure. And I will go with the final question. Is there anyone else other than Hamer that could fit the role? I think you've got the likes of Ilan Cabal that has been discussed quite a lot at Paris FC. Outside of that, I'm not 100% sure, because Hamer seems like he's got a very sort of passing profile that would, as Russ says, fit the system quite well. he'd be absolutely perfect with the through balls for the likes of Dan James and Nonto and Ramazani. Just delicious. We're building a side that will just terrify teams. As Skip said, I just hope that we secure all of these players and we're in the best position possible once the season actually comes in full swing. And the most important thing that I'm going to leave you with is that Chris Wilder is going to be absolutely fuming if it happens. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, even become a channel member. It's 99p for a month, and you get videos such as this one, basically as soon as they're recorded, rather than when they come out, so a good few hours early. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. Ta-ra. Poor ham sandwich, man. He's going to really struggle with this one, isn't he? Might even upgrade to bacon. And I'll call that the end of that video. Okay, Bosh, 36 minutes 40. Fan Debbie Dozy. Now, second video. Doing the Tanaka one. We're going into the Tanaka one very quickly. Because I'm very tired. And I don't know when to schedule these, actually. Because I like a 7 AM release, because that always does well, but I don't know what to do with the second one. Maybe like 9, 7 and 10. Or just simultaneously. No, because that'd kill both of the videos. I'll do a 7 and a 9, I think. That'll do. Anyway, Tanaka video is up next. So let's hop into it. We need a song for Wilder. I don't think we do. I don't think he's worth a song, I'll be completely honest with you. 6 AM, 10 AM. Maybe not 10. 10 feels on the light side. 6 and 9, and then if there's any further news after I awaken, I'll pop on a live stream. Anyway, going to get into it. Into recording mode, which I'm going to start at, I think, 38:15. Which we're nearly at. So I'm going to get ready for that one. Thank you for the questions, by the way. They really helped. So, that's gone wrong because I've kept the comment up. That was real dumb. I'm going to go from 38:30. That's my bad. So Leeds United need a number 8. This is pretty obvious, and it has been since Glenn Kamara decided he no longer wanted to be at the football club, which is a little bit of a problem because we didn't have many other number 8s. Archie Gray left. Ampadu played more as a centre-back. We still had Ilya Gruev, I guess, but there was a little bit of an approach from the likes of Borussia Dortmund. So it was pretty obvious that we needed one, and thankfully we might have one. And the best bit is, from a financial perspective, he is affordable too. Because, as far as I'm aware, as I'm recording this video at 20-1 on the 29th of August, 20-1 in the morning. This isn't a weird afternoon stream and I've time travelled. But Tanaka looks like he has secured a move to Leeds United, or is at the very least on the verge of securing his move to Leeds United. Now, there are many things that have gone towards this, such as, well, the fact that he was missing training to negotiate. We'll also discuss how much he cost, how he plays, where he'll fit in the side, what we can expect in terms of timeline and announcements and stuff like that, and ultimately if he's a good move, before taking a little bit of a quick deep dive into Questions Corner, where the live stream chat, who's keeping me company throughout this recording session, will ask a bunch of questions. Thanks for keeping me sane, guys. I really appreciate it. But before that, I'd hugely appreciate if you could subscribe. I'm trying to get to 5,000 by the end of transfer deadline day, which is going to be tough. But I think with everyone working together, we will get there. So let's dive into it. With the fact that he missed training to negotiate. Basically, Dusseldorf had training for their match on Friday, today. So working on stuff like shape, structure, set pieces, all the fun stuff that you do in training, presumably not just physical things because they have a match in a matter of days. And interestingly, Tanaka wasn't there. Reports say that he was given permission to not attend because he was discussing various transfer things and negotiating stuff, which tells me that there is a club very, 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 very close to signing him. Now, as the only club that's been reported to have an interest in signing Ao Tanaka, we're in a very good spot. And the best bit is because there is no other club in this conversation, the question of how much it'll cost isn't too much of an issue either. It's looking like, and reports vary a little bit, somewhere between 2.5 and 3 million pounds, 3 to 4 million euros are the two ranges that I've heard, but they add up to approximately the same sort of numbers. And that's really affordable, especially for a Japan international. I think, is he currently in the international side? I think so. Who plays at a fairly decent level for Dusseldorf. And you also need to consider wages in this conversation. His wages aren't too high. As far as I'm aware, his wages were between 10 and 15k last season, which is something that we can match with ease, especially if we think we're going to go up, and he will add to the squad. So in terms of cost, it's looking good, but in terms of style, does he fit? And I think he absolutely does. So he can play as an 8, he can do the box-to-box stuff, he likes a shot from time to time. If I remember right, he got 7 goals, 3 assists last season, something like that. But even then, he created 6 big chances, only 3 of which were converted, so I think we've got good enough finishes to make that even better. In addition to that, he's happy to sit a little bit deeper from time to time, do some of the defensive work, which is spectacular. That's what we sort of need at the minute, because it's not always going to be all go all the time. We're going to need to keep a good few clean sheets this season. And he can also play in the 10, which is very helpful, because we don't know whether or not we'll get a 10, or do we? Keep an eye out for the Gus Hamer video that's coming out later. So in terms of where he fits into the side, it feels like he fits very, very easily in. It feels like there's a lot of places that we can slot him. It's something that I was saying when I was doing Football Manager streams. You don't want for your round hole or square peg, but you don't necessarily want for your square hole or square peg either. You want a sort of spongy peg, a sort of malleable one that can go into multiple holes and fill them as effectively as anywhere else. That does a decent enough job absolutely everywhere on the pitch. Someone's Stuart Dallasy. You want your sponge pegs. So I think he can go in any sort of spots in the midfield and will do excellently, and is the perfect sort of utility player that we're looking for that can also start. He's not just going to be good off the bench. So outside of that, if we are to sign him, what can we expect from the timeline? So we know that he wasn't training for Dusseldorf yesterday. In my opinion, this means that a move is incredibly close, but whilst it might be a case of trying to get everything signed and all the press stuff done on today, Thursday, I feel like the club's going to wait. I feel like the club will wait until deadline day, where there's potential to announce 2 or 3 moves together. Not all at once, obviously, but within a set time frame of one another. Just because it's better for PR. Just because it'll have more eyes on it, and it is a lot better to try and pump up a bit of hype. If on deadline day you've done 2 or 3 signings rather than, yeah, well, we did one before deadline day and then one happened at like 4 p.m. on deadline day. Doesn't have the same whack, doesn't have that oomph. So I think it's going to be a case of, yes, things might be done today, but it might be announced tomorrow. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm wrong on this one. Fair enough. But that's what I'm predicting. Ultimately, there's a question of whether or not he's a good move, and I think absolutely yes. I do not see a drawback in signing this guy. Wages, fine. Cost in terms of transfer fee, genuinely fantastically affordable. Looking even beyond all of that, asking the question of, okay, sure, so transfer fees are alright, wages are alright, how is he as a player? He's excellent. Yes, he might be in the Zweite Bundesliga, second Bundesliga, sorry. I have listened to far too much of the TIFO podcast. But Fortuna Dusseldorf is a good side, and he is an excellent player within that side. I think he'd be an excellent deal for Leeds United. But kind of curious about what you guys think, and I'm kind of curious about what the chat thinks, so we're going to hop over to Questions Corner, where I'm going to take 2 or 3 questions about Ao Tanaka and have a little bit of a discussion. But whilst I'm waiting for those questions to roll in, you guys who are watching on the video, please comment below what you're thinking. Like the video if you haven't yet, and subscribe because I'm trying to hit that 5k. It'd be fantastic if I could do so. And yeah, we're going to hop over to Questions Corner with the first one coming in from Matthew Hall, who asks, does Tanaka get straight in the squad or does he need to earn his place? I think he gets into the matchday side. He gets into the 20 because I don't see Charlie Crew keeping him out in terms of level. However, like a Ramazani and a Solomon, I think he'd need to force his way into the first 11 because that's a different question entirely. All senior players that we are signing should, in theory, immediately make it into that squad. But beyond that, into the first 11, different question. Why didn't Kamara work for Farkas' system and why will Tanaka? Kamara was a little bit... He was less someone that will control the pace of a match and more someone that will naturally slow a game down, which is okay. That's fine. There's a place for a player like that. But as you saw with the way that Kamara rarely got forward, rarely had a shot, Tanaka isn't that. Tanaka will bring goals from the middle of the park, which ultimately is going to make a pretty big difference for us. 7 goals last season is nothing to sniff at. And translate 7 goals across to the Championship last season, we probably go up. And that can be the difference, I think. His more aggressive profile is ultimately what could make a bit of a difference. On this one, Chris, we discussed this literally yesterday. Just because you've never heard of a player doesn't make them bad at football. What would you say to those who are saying he's the cheap option? I would say that a cheap option isn't necessarily a bad option. Somerville cost us £1.5 million. Pascal Strike was a free. Willie Nonto cost £4 million. And just this last summer, Real Madrid got Kylian Mbappe on a free. Good players can be cheap, which is fine. There's also this. Didn't trust his bench last season, but now there's more quality there. Will we need to replace him if we get promoted? I don't think so. I think he's got the quality to make that step up. But then again, if we go up, we will have the war chest that we need in order to properly solidify that. And I will take one more quick question, which is going to be from David Gray. What are your views on Rothwell versus Tanaka? I don't have a preference because Rothwell hasn't played much for us. Tanaka has never played for us, and I'll be honest, I've not seen that many of his full matches. I've seen bits of him because when I've been working in Germany events with DAZN stuff. But my view on Rothwell versus Tanaka isn't that I have a preference of either of them. It's that the fact that they have to compete with one another is good for us in general. Because it means that they will both need to try and force their way into the side, and that is always a good position to be in for a football club. Because it means we're getting better performances out of both of them. But that's what the chat thinks right now. I want to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments down below what you think, whether or not we should sign Ayo Tanaka. Do you think it gets done? Like, subscribe. You can even become a channel member. You can see videos such as this one 5 hours before they come out, which is great. It's 99p a month. And I'm doing these videos most days at this point, so it's fun, isn't it? Hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. We really need to think of that fun little... We need to think of a song that isn't just A-O, let's go. Anyway, see you later. And that is done at 49 minutes and 20 seconds. Thank you very much, friendos, for an excellent questions corner. It was good fun. Chris, I'm not going to bother engaging at this point. You're just being full negative, and it's not worth the time, to be honest. But yeah, I'll do a little bit of a general questions corner for a couple of minutes. And then end the stream. I've got 2 videos to edit. I've got a thumbnail to put together for Hamer. Which I might screen share, actually. Who knows? One of us has a job in the sport. The other one comments on people's YouTube videos trying to get a rise. Do you think 49ers would look at a number 9 as Bamford and Pirro were not reliable backups? I think if we only had one of them, I'd agree. The fact we got both makes me feel a little bit better. Because Pirro, off of basically half a season last year, got himself 13 goals. Absolute banger, Jim. Bamford, off half a season, we improved vastly when he was in the club. Not in the club, in the first 11. In terms of pure results, like, we didn't lose for a long time. I think we're okay in terms of cover. But it is always hard to say, you know. So that's that thumbnail done. Got to do the other one. Bosh, set images background. Fuck it, I'll screen share this, why not? Any news on transfers tomorrow, possibly? Any news on Billing or Aaron's? Billing doesn't look like it's going to happen. Aaron's, I've got no idea. I've not really been tracking that one too closely. It looks like we're going to have made a new offer for Hamer. And Tanaka looks like he's about to come in the door. I forgot to click. There we go. But that's the general gist. Right. I need to find a new image of Ao Tanaka. No, I don't. Need to find a new image of Gus Hamer. I'm not putting a picture in the thumbnail. Why did you both say that at the same time? That's spooky. Do we know what the contract states if Solomon's out injured for a long term? I hope he doesn't. He looks exciting. I think he'll be okay. Thoughts on Firpo? I like Firpo. I've always liked sort of underdoggy players. So Firpo is like perfectly in that category, especially since I'm left-footed and have been forced to play at left back in the past. It's not a fun time. So I respect anyone that does that job on purpose. Is he a box-to-box 8? As far as I've seen, yeah. In terms of what I'm aware of. Weapons to limited resources. I mean, we're still being a bit limited. Like, hang on. Leeds make. How do I phrase this in a way that fits? What's the highest level of geek you've gone looking at players? I'm currently watching a Tanaka game versus Ipswich. That is a big level of geek. I sort of go minimal geek. I'm more of a sort of. I'm more statsy than watchy. That's what I go with. Yeah. Leeds make. Oh, hitting hell. Right, I'm gonna have to mess with the spacing a bit. See, this is the unglamorous side of doing YouTube. I mean, YouTube stuff isn't glamorous anyway. But, ooh, the fun of messing with spacing in Canva. Haha. Please fit. Yes! Oh, get in. Just about fits. Okay, jank with the letter spacing a bit more. I'll go to minus 45. I think I knocked that down one. Make that yellow. Outline it black. Bosh. And then I quite like Hamer. I've picked the one in the yellow kit as well, just because it suits a little bit nicer. Can you come to the front, Gus, please? Because I like a bit of an overlap on one of the letters. Thank you, Uber Watch. What do you think of Darko JB? Why did we learn him out? I don't think he's quite the level that we need right now. Right, what I'll do, because you guys are asking so nicely. Happy? There we go. The reason I've done that is so the YouTube partner subreddit still has me verified. Because it's nice being verified. Right, okay, cool. I had to make sure the pigeon actually fit. Right, are we I'm not giving Hamer a pigeon head. No. I need another picture of Wilder looking upset on the thumbnail. I've not got room. Where am I going to put it? I like this design. This design will do. Is that publisher? No, it's Canva. And if anyone asks, yes, I paid for the licenses on all of these images. Right, cool. That's downloaded now. I still think JB could have done just as good a job as Crew or Rothwell. I think JB's in a place where he needs more minutes than Crew, is the issue. Great channel, great content, loving the chill vibe you bring. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Subscribed. Hee, thank you. So, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream there. Because I need to get all of this edited now, which should be fun. That's fine. Put a bubble there. You said, well, I'm not going to put a bubble. We go minimal. That's fine. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the stream. It's a little bit later than normal, but that should be fine. Like if you haven't yet, subscribe as well. That's always massively appreciated. Even be a channel member. It's 99p for a month, and you get all these videos nice and early, which is good. I did notice that Chris stopped talking. Yes, once he realised that being the class clown didn't, in fact, get laughs. Make the Tanaka thumbnail. I've already made the Tanaka thumbnail. Sorry. I could do with a bit of a jiggery poke around though, just to make sure everything fits. No, not a crop. Stop it, stop it. There we go. Yeah, it's this one, the Tanaka one. It should be fine. Thank you, Jim. Oh, no, he's decided to pipe up. Oh, you forgot to capitalize the G, by the way. Clearly clueless. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you probably in the morning. Toodaloo. I'm just going to answer this one before I go. Yes, as far as I'm aware from all of various sources. Anyway, in a bit.